Hi guys, this is Pestillion and welcome to another Pestillion Unmasked video. Today we are talking about embracing change. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a weird one. I'm actually going to be like letting you in on some of the more shit things that have actually happened in my life, but how I, in some ways, kind of turned it into positives. And I just want to like take time to talk to you guys about how even when things are shit, you can try and make it better. Now, like, you know, everyone goes through different things, and it's difficult for everyone no matter what it is. But I'm just trying to show you how to turn a negative into a positive, and just to embrace the change. Now, this was actually inspired by a video I literally just watched, and it just made me think about like all the things I've been doing in my life. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So first up, when I was like 16, 17, 18, I was like a really social person. I used to go and party and have fun with friends all the time, and I was like really like just, I don't know, I just felt like I was just living a normal person's life, you know. But then when I was like 19, 20, 21, I drank a lot, and I felt like I really wasn't my own individual self. I was actually kind of just following whatever my mates told me to do, what my mates thought made me think was fun, or all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. It's still you discovering how to become an adult and how to live life. And friends are very important in that discoverability and discovering of life. But it wasn't until I lost my license one day to drink driving. I was 0.08. So in America, that's legal some places, but in Australia, it's not. 0.05 is legal. It is the legal limit in Australia. And after I lost my license, like pretty much I lived a little bit out of the city. For the first like few weeks, my mates were pretty good. They were like, you know, giving me lifts and stuff. But then after a little bit, they were like, nah. Too bad, so sad. And I used to give my mates lifts everywhere, right? So I actually started skateboarding again, and I actually was putting a lot more time and effort into fitness. And I would say about this time is where I pretty much quit drinking. I did realize how bad or how much I was drinking, and I started focusing on fitness and skateboarding and bodybuilding, and I got right into my fitness side of things. And it opened the door to just me going down this massive health kick. And whilst it was a pretty shit time, like it was embarrassing. I was embarrassed to my family for what happened, and I'm thankful that I did get caught, believe it or not, because I'm glad that I just got caught, pulled over by like in Australia you call them a booze bus. It's like a big bus set up on the side of the road. They wave in all the cars. I'm glad I got pulled up by that, and instead of hurting someone. It was a little bit of a kickstart to me actually moving my life into a way where it's a more positive thing. I actually went down this massive like self-help development kind of kick. And I started working on ways to actually make myself a better person for myself. It wasn't really for anyone else. I didn't really care much for anyone else at this point. And it was just to make myself the best person I could be, so I can enjoy life to the fullest. So that's probably like one of the first major turning points in my life. After this, I joined the military. I was in the army and the infantry, if you're new here. And I spent 8 years in the army. And a lot of the times I was in the army, there was pretty big moments in my life that was actually pretty full on. And I was training up to get in special forces. I wasn't successful at all. And I really was a little bit, for lack of better words, just didn't know where my purpose was. And all my friends had just been deployed to Afghanistan, and I was still left at the unit, and I did not know what I wanted to do with myself. And I started looking at different things in the military to do. And I actually got a position as a linguist and studying Indonesian in the army. Now, whilst everyone else at the unit was kind of just sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for the next trip, I was actively out there trying to change the situation I was in. Now, this one's a little bit different because it's more of like I just didn't want to sit there and do nothing, whereas other times people aren't forced to make changes. So I think there's two types of changes that we actually really do have to deal with. And they go from either reaction, or where something's happened and you have to do something, or you are actually, you want to change things. So this part is more of me actually wanting to change. I actually wanted to do something with my career, wanted to do something with my life. And that's where I actually started going down a new path in life. I wasn't just going to sit there and just do what I'm told. I wanted to go out there and actually try something new. After all that translating and all that stuff happened, I actually got injured. So that was more of a situation where I had to make a decision. Do I want to stay in the military, and how I wanted to go with that? And I was trying to push down an intelligence path where I would actually study Chinese as well, and stay in the military down that path. Now this never actually happened, right? So I actually left the military instead. So for me, it was a very daunting time to quit the military and then go down this path of unknown. So most people, when they quit the military, they have a job lined up or they have some sort of goal in mind. I did the opposite of what you're meant to do. Like my commanders and all that, they were laughing at me. Like I legitimately was telling them, I'm going to go play computer games and I'm going to go fishing for 3 months. Now, they didn't understand the purpose behind that. I always found that a lot of people that left the military were so ingrained in the military lifestyle, they'd go to a different job and they just wouldn't be able to fit in. They wouldn't be able to actually partake in the job like another normal person would. I struggled with some of the job, like I'll talk about that in a minute, but I struggled with working with other people once I left the military because of that. And so my main focus was just to become another person of society again. I had this situation when I was in the military. I was meant to be going to the school of languages to study Chinese, and I got told by my CEO that he wasn't supporting the application. I was very mad because I'd been promised it from the Department of Career Management. And so I literally called up my missus at the time and said, I'm quitting. And she didn't have a very good job. She was working as in a part-time role. You know, I was making the majority of the money. And so we had to quickly make a lot of changes very quickly. And so she started applying for jobs like crazy. And then when she got a job, I actually had some money saved up. And I said, yep, 3 months, I'm going to do nothing. Long story short, there was actually a bit of a fuck around with the army, which is something not uncommon. I was actually going to quit. I've never really spoke about this publicly. So I was meant to quit on like, I think it was like the start of August. It was start of August, I think it was, or maybe a little bit earlier. And I got a call from like one of the bigwigs up in Brigade HQ, and they wanted me to translate for a gig over in Indonesia. And I said, oh, you know, I'm discharging, and they're like, can you push it back? And I was like, all right, because these guys were like really good to me. They gave me so many opportunities with the translating. I put the application in to push my discharge back, and my CEO, or the acting CEO, who was, you know, obviously talking to him, said they were going to deny the application. And I laughed I was in the CEO's office, and I laughed in his face and said, do it. I'm going to go fishing. Like, it literally means fuck all to me. And that's exactly how I said it to him. I go, I'm doing this as a favor to them. You can call them up, tell them, sir, if you say no, I'm going fishing, I'm happy. And the look on his face, it was probably the most fulfilling thing I ever fucking said in the military to someone of superior rank to me. So it was probably, I laughed walking out of that office that day, because they thought they had me like by the balls. They were like, oh, this guy just wants to go do another trip to Indonesia. I'm like, mate, I've done enough. I've seen that country enough. Anyway, so when I quit or left the military, and I just wanted to do something with my life again. And I actually started to find purpose. Now, I could have honestly stayed in the military. Like, it was $65,000 a year, really secure job, all your medical expenses paid for, a lot of other benefits like housing allowances and stuff like that. You know, they pay extra money towards your home loans and stuff like that. Like, I was pretty well off in the military. And the Australian military pays you really well, and it's really good job security. I could have just said, you know what, the CEO said no, and I'll just stay in and just keep plodding along. But that I wanted more from myself. Now, I forced myself to put myself in a situation where I was going to leave the military and find a new adventure. Now, change in this respect is scary as fuck. If you go from a really, really, really safe place to you have no job security, you got no place you got no place of where you can just be like, oh, it's all good, I'll have a job doing this and all that. It's one of the scariest things. Now, I'm not telling everyone out there to go quit their job and just start something new. Have a plan. Right, my plan was to actually take 3 or 4 months, and then during that time to actually start thinking about what I really want to do with my life. And then because of my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife, she actually had a job by the time I quit where we could get by. It wouldn't be the greatest, like lifestyle, but we could get by. I left. I wanted to be a firefighter, so I actually signed up and became one. And that was great. It was seriously one of the great things. Even the firefighter being like a paramilitary environment, who's meant to be like, somewhat like a rank system and somewhat serious about their job. No diss to them at all, but like my military side came in. I'm like, how could someone be late to work? Why aren't they really doing their training like all the time? Why are they sitting around doing nothing? Like, it was just like, you know, it was really fucking weird for me. Like, it was just that civilian mentality that was hard for me to beat out of myself. And to be honest, that's why I needed that time off, because people don't work like that in the real world. You know, like, you can't just go, "Oh, fuckhead, get in line, do the fucking right thing." You can't say that. Like, it doesn't work like that in the real world. Like, I've actually had to, like, I've been clipped a few times, like, behind the ear by the wife when I've been talking to my editors and that, because, like, I'm very direct. I'm like, "Hey, I need this done now." And, like, I'm like, no pleasantries, no nothing. Like, "What are you doing, Frankie? Edit." Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just that mentality that I've got ingrained with me for over 8 years in the military. But it's something I do work on, and I acknowledge that it's not a perfected skill set of mine. But yeah, that change where the whole leaving the military and then trying to figure out something to do with my life, that was it was probably one of the best things I ever did in my life. All right, so I could have stayed in the military quite easily. There was plenty of other opportunities I could have done, but no, I wanted, and it wasn't just to, like, stick it to the man. Like, I wanted to get out and actually do something, and I didn't want to just sit there. I was looking at the other people around me that were really content with how their life was. That were excited that they're, you know, going to spend the next fucking 40 years getting posted around. You know, kids would go to 20 different schools, like, stuff that shit. Like, I just want to, like, I want to live where I want to live. I want to do what I want to do, and I want to embrace my life. So I took that leap of faith and actually done something a bit different. I do have another note here, and this one's going to be a lot more, I guess the word's not touchy, but it's just a little bit different. The last example I have for where a change has really changed things for me in a pretty crazy way, and I worked really hard because of it. So most people know that I was living in Europe. Most people know that I had been planning a trip to Europe for 2020, and I was going to travel to every single country. I was going to be climbing mountains. I was going to be discovering all the cultures and all the cool things, all the cuisines. I was going to eat all the food. I was going to come back 20 kilograms heavier. That's like 44 pounds for anyone from America. And I was just going to live this dream life. Now, we got to Europe, we started traveling, and then COVID hit, and bam, we now are sitting in Europe. Now, what I could have done was literally just sit there and just do my normal thing, just keep live streaming and all that. But instead, I looked at the situation that we had, which was we are now in Europe, and how do we make the best of this shitty situation? So I doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down on the streaming side of things. I have now what I would argue is one of the best crews going around when it comes to content creation. Don't tell any of them this, right? But my editors are amazing. My moderators are amazing. I am treating them as best as I can, and I'm paying a heap of them, and I'm just really excited where I've taken this opportunity with obviously the help from people watching this video, but embracing what I could out of a shitty situation and turning it into the biggest positive I can. And it's no bloody secret, I'm doing really well now. My like I went from in 2019, end of 2019, I think I had about 160,000 followers, 180,000 followers. We just hit nearly 800,000. Like, you know, and this is on Twitch I'm talking about. For YouTube, you know, we've got over 300,000 subscribers on my gaming channel, and I really worked hard, but I also took advantage of the shitty situation I was in, and I started working on building other teams up. Now, I don't think you should always wait for a negative to happen for you to actually do a change. I actually think you should identify things in your life that you would want to have better, and you should work towards making that different. Now, I'm not saying go out and quit your job. What I am saying is if you are unhappy in your job and there is a way that you could become happier in another way, if it does mean leaving or building to a skill set up to moving into a new career path, start working towards that. I can't stress it enough. I would rather make 20 grand less, like say I was on 65 in the army, I'd rather make 45 grand a year doing something I was really happy about and just living out a little bit tighter, you know, financially, but going to work or doing my day-to-day activities excited than, you know, working really hard for someone who gives no fuck about me. That's easier said than done, and I get it. I have gone through those situations, and trust me, it's scary. I don't have the best advice for it, but if you keep doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result, it's not going to happen. All right, the definition of insanity: doing the same thing twice and expecting a different result. like if you keep going down that path, you're going to have these same things happen to you where, you know, it's not going to get any better and you're just hoping on luck that something's going to change for the better. It doesn't work like that. I know lots of situations where people in that I've known or I've heard about where something's happened to them, like a big knee-jerk reaction, and sometimes it's put them in a spiral going down. But for other people, they're the happiest I've ever seen them. And I think it's how you react to those changes, the mindset you go in. I try and always look at the positives, but the mindset you go into these changes in life is what's going to make you make or break out of these situations. And yeah, I know this is a bit of a weird one. Like I said, a YouTube video is like just sparked this into my brain, and I wanted to put this out there into the universe. If you find it interesting at all, awesome. Usual drill, smack the like button and comment about your situations where you've made a change or not, or something you're interested in making a change about. I really do try and read all these comments, particularly on the Unmasked channel, because I feel like there's a lot more closer interaction and intimacy between you guys and me. Keep that positive vibe out there and working hard. We just came out one of the shittest years in the majority of our life's history that we actually know of, like from physically knowing, not just reading in books and seeing on documentaries. And a lot of people have been really suffering. So hopefully we can make a better 2021 and people can start getting their lives back on track. I won't ramble on anymore. I think there's a fair bit of rambling in here. So I really do appreciate you guys popping in and listening to these videos. It's just a place for me to just get this stuff out of my head. That's pretty much it. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. So usual drill, like button, comment, notification bell. I don't post these videos super often, but I do want to post them more often. And I'm building a plan up to work on that. So guys, love you all. Stay safe. Happy New Year. And lastly, I'll see you next time.